right, let's take this conversation further right now with lecturer in politics and history, John Laughland, now joining us here on RT International. John, a very warm welcome to you. Thanks so much for joining us here on the programme today.
Thank you, Rory.
Pope Francis, the Catholic Church, a lot of people are saying it took a turn never seen before under his tenure, leaning pretty hard towards liberal values, perhaps. Take, for example, his meetings with the LGBT community, blessing gay marriages as well. Some people saying that caused an uproar among traditional Catholics. How do you view it, John?
Well, I'm one of the traditional Catholics who was shocked by these things. I think that when popes die, there's a lot of comment. Of course, it's natural for people, world leaders and so on, to say kind words. And in any case, we like to say kind words about the dead. But I think that his has been a very damaging pontificate. I think that we saw this from the very beginning when he took the name Francis. There's never been a pope called Francis before. And so the choice of name was clearly designed to indicate a break with tradition. And that's what your reporter has just very accurately described. He profiled himself very much as a progressivist figure. But there's a problem with this. You see, everybody knows that popes are elected, much as, by the way, bishops used to be elected in the early Middle Ages across Christian Europe, across West Catholic Europe. But that fact of election shouldn't allow us to think that this is like electing a president of a country. The Pope doesn't have the right to change policy, to change tradition. That's not what popes are for. The Pope, on the contrary, has to uphold tradition and invigorate it as much as possible. So when I hear commentators welcoming, or heard, because he's dead now, but when I heard commentators welcoming his various progressive initiatives of the kind that your reporter has recalled, I'm afraid I am dismayed, because that, you know, the Pope, what Catholics expect, or certainly what I would expect from a pope, is not progressivism, because we've got plenty of that in the world already.
Yeah.
But instead, a much more unique message, which would be very demonstrative faith, practicing and speaking about belief in Christ. Those are the things which I think were missing from his pontificate. And I would add to that there have been many moments in his pontificate where he did things that were really incompatible with Christian teaching, Christian faith.
Yeah, John,
I can go into this if you like.
I was just going to ask you, why do you think, though? Why do you think, John, that he took this whole progressive approach? Was he influenced by someone? Was he trying to create divide or unity? Tell me more.
I think it's because he is a product of the progressivist tendency in the Catholic Church, which has been dominant now since the 1960s, since the Second Vatican Council, which started in 1963 and finished a couple of years later. That Second Vatican Council was called back in the 60s to update the church. That was the word the then Pope used, John the 23rd. And ever since then, even though it's a long time ago now, it's 60 years ago, the Catholic hierarchy has essentially been progressivist. It may not appear so to everyone because, of course, it holds out on issues like abortion, which is widely, as we know, legal across the world. But within the terms of the church itself, that has been the dominant line now for a very long time. And although some popes like Benedict the 16th or John Paul II, Francis's two predecessors, they may have appeared in some ways to be more conservative. Nonetheless, they also were, broadly speaking, progressives, perhaps not in all areas, but broadly speaking, they were part of this product. And Pope Francis was the first pope to be a pure product of the church of the Second Vatican Council. What I mean by that is that he was ordained after the council had been had finished and after the new liturgy had been introduced. So he is the first pope to be a pure product of that renovation of the church. And that's why I think what he did was, it's not because he was influenced by someone. I think that's very much his belief. But as Oscar Wilde said, the danger in being too modern is that you appear old-fashioned very quickly. And personally, I find this progressivism rather outdated.
Yeah, God, what an intriguing comment there. You know, it's always an enlightening conversation with John Laughland, a lecturer in politics and history at the Catholic Institute of the Vendée. John, thanks a million. Looking forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Rory.
Thank you.